Hi, Si here from Music Radar. We're at NAMM 2019. We are joined by the indomitable Tom Holkenborg. Nice to meet you. Obviously, Junkie XL to many others out there.
Thanks for having me.
Cool, Tom. Well, thanks for coming to see us and say hello. You're obviously renowned for quite the gearhead. You know, everyone's seen pictures of your studio at home. Tell us a bit about like what's happening in the studio. What's kind of like, what's doing it for you in the hardware department right now? What's kind of like, what you're rolling with? Have you got some new gear in that you're kind of really like pushing with your latest projects?
Not a whole lot of new gear, and that's why we're here. So to collect more gear. And talking to. No, I've been very busy for the last year, and I didn't really have a lot of time to buy stuff and try like a lot of new stuff. So very excited to be here and just see like all the amazing stuff that these fantastic developers that we composers, electronic musicians, producers. We're all relying on these people to come up with the stuff that we can use. And the first day I arrived, which was yesterday, is basically saying hi to all the people that have been working with me for the last 15, 20 years. Say hi to everybody. Today was work, talking about the really great brass library I'm developing with Orchestral Tools. I'm doing interviews like with yourself. And tomorrow, the full day, I have nothing scheduled, playtime. And tomorrow I'm just gonna go and look for exciting new guitar pedals, exciting new modular stuff, small software programs, and I'm very much looking forward to that.
Is there anything that you kind of is on your radar that you want to try out that you know about?
Well, actually, the next 2-3 projects that I'm working on involve a lot of recording of guitars and microphones and drums. So I'm going to specialize tomorrow into looking for really exotic guitar pedals and exotic guitar amplifiers and microphones. And so a lot of recording actually based. But since I'm a synth freak, I can't help myself. I have to look at more synthesizers. So obviously,
there's plenty of those around.
There's a lot to go around.
Is there anything kind of in the sort of modular world and the synth world that you kind of I need this?
I wouldn't say I need this. I would say I want this. Because I don't think with a straight face I can tell to anybody out there that I need something.
No, sure.
Because people out there would say, Tom, you really need to shut up. But there's a couple of companies that have been delivering like really interesting synths. Modular is a very interesting company.
They're very close to us back home. They're just down the road from us. So we know those guys.
Then Korg has released like a couple of really interesting things. There's Roland has released some interesting things. I had a peek today at the Montage 8, the Yamaha Montage 8, and the CP synthesizer that they released. So I'm gonna check that out tomorrow.
Have a good play with those,
and then there's like a couple of really interesting new software programs that come out. Arturia has some really interesting stuff coming out that I want to look at. I talked briefly to Spectrasonics today, so I'm going to go back to the booth tomorrow.
Have a proper play with that stuff.
Man, I need like a 48-hour day tomorrow, but it's only from 10 to 5.
So you're going to cram in some stuff.
I got to cram in some stuff.
So let's talk about your most recent kind of composing work. You have to remind me, Battle...
So the movie that I'm very excited about, it comes out in 2 weeks, which is a Robert Rodriguez directed film produced by James Cameron. It's called Alita, Battle Angel. I'm very happy with the music. It's a really nice blend between things that are very traditional and very orchestral, and very gnarly electronic music. I'm so happy that I've been part of the score, and Dua Lipa made a great single that is based off one of my themes for that score, a very electronic track actually. And I'm so happy that the response on that track has been great. And it was a fantastic project altogether. The movie looks fantastic, and very excited to see that thing coming to theaters from February 14th on.
We'll definitely check that out. In the sort of composition process, you're talking like obviously you work with a kind of more sort of traditional orchestral stuff, but obviously like you're saying, you're bringing in some serious electronic business with it. So did the modular take a big hit here?
The modular was very important in this one, very important. And I've been building a 5-view modular system over the years and a Eurorack module over the years. And I've been part of many Kickstarter projects over the last 4 or 5 years. Some of them I started 3-4 years ago by wiring some money into that account, and I ran into one of the developers that said, Tom, we're almost done with the module. It's like, it's been 4 years, And so there's this guy from a Russian guy who lives in Japan, and he built the Decades Dream.
Oh, Roma.
So I was part of that initial part, and I got it 2 years ago, and he said to me, we have an update, it's incredible, so send us your old one back, we'll give you a new one. So I'm looking forward, obviously, to try that.
And they've got the Xerxes, the Synth X one as well. Yeah, had a little go on that earlier. That's awesome.
And so, and then one of the most talented developers in the world is Bert Chiquetta, who developed the Percussa module. Yeah. And that was another Kickstarter. I was part of that. And he's coming to the studio next week to give me a full demo of what this thing is capable of. And so, I mean, I have to say, I'm a synth freak and software freak, obviously, but there's something very unique about the modular world. These are such small companies, and they put so much love and energy to it. Yeah. Like a Wednesday before NAMM, I had Gert Lassalle, from Moon, coming to my studio and showing me the new stuff that he was working on, and he does it all on its own in a little work spot, and I'm just like.
And these things, they kind of exude the character that's kind of put into them, don't they?
Incredible. Yeah. And you know what the beautiful thing with modular synthesis is that not only does it sound absolutely fantastic, but it's the best furniture you can put in your house. It just looks amazing.
Yours looks really amazing.
Well, it just looks fantastic. All these synthesizer brands that I work with, it goes from synthesizer.com, to all these different companies like Moon, and I mean, I'm just blanking on all the other. I didn't have a lot of sleep
many.
last night.
No, that's
but and the same in the Eurorack world. I have so much respect for these builders and what they have given us producers, to really make absolutely cool music.
And it seems like it's still the frontier, the forefront of kind of pushing the envelope on what synthesis can do.
Oh yeah,
isn't it? The esoteric stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's incredible what you can do with it, and also when you start combining all these different modules together, the possibilities are endless. And I know there's a lot of synths out there that still try to emulate the older synths, which is extremely applaudable, and I love them for it. And then there's the montage of Yamaha, where you can get traditional, but you can get so incredibly experimental with that thing.
And
so deep. It's fantastic. An 8-operator synthesizer, and I don't know, man. It's like you walk around here. It's like, well, I can't have a studio the size of NAMM, but so I gotta.
So with that latest project, what sort of software was powering everything? What were you kind of working with?
Well, it's not a secret. I've been a Cubase guy since 1989, so it's been 30 years now. Anniversary is coming up somewhere in the summer. So it's primarily Cubase, and then I use software design programs like Kima, which a lot of people don't know it. It's primarily because it's very expensive, but it's absolutely a fantastic program. You can do all these things that no other program can do. So it's made by a company called Symbolic Sound Systems, and it's called Kima, K-Y-M-A.
Okay.
Then there's another fantastic company in France that a lot of people also don't know. It's called Metasynth. So also fantastic program. Then there's smaller programs that were built many years ago. Pulse Stretch, Soundhack.
You're still using those guys.
They're so fantastic. And then obviously there's a Reactor. There's Absinthe, Massive. Arturia. There's so much great stuff out there. So it's never a one-stop shop, if you know what I mean. You go all over the place. But obviously Cubase is the big consistent in that, as being my sequencer, and I just finished building the template once again. I made videos about it, so they're like how I built the new template, and we're broadcasting them right now.
Yeah.
But it took me 8 weeks to build. You know, it's intense, but
that's huge.
But I just love doing it.
Yeah.
So
labor of love. So
labor of love.
Best 8 weeks spent. Sort of thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
So fast forwarding into the future, of course, you teamed up with Orchestral Tools.
Yep.
With your brass.
Yep.
It's not quite ready yet, but you're in development stage.
Yeah.
And you announced, fully just the other week, or beginning of the week, that's happening. Tell us more about how that came about.
Well, the most important thing for me is that I wanted to create a brass library that was going to knock any other brass library out of the park.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, how do I create a brass library that even potentially John Williams would consider using?
Okay. Yeah,
and how do you create a brass library that Hans Zimmer would like to use? How do you create a brass library that Trent Reznor wants to use?
Yeah.
How do you create a brass library that Timbaland wants to use when he creates, or Diplo, when he creates like the most amazing electronic tracks and hip hop tracks? So it means that you need to be very broad, and you need to think about it like really carefully, and not just like, oh, let's record like a couple of brass instruments, cutting corners everywhere, and just like release it and see if it makes some money.
Yeah.
But it's a really long process. We've been talking about it at least for 6-7 months. Then I started releasing videos on social media that I was planning to do this.
Yeah.
And I asked the viewers, like, what things would you like to see in the brass library? We got thousands of suggestions, and some of them were actually so good that I actually didn't think about them. And we incorporated.
And they're coming in there.
And then we went into the recording process, part one. God knows how many hours. So we did that first.
Was that with you? Was that your studios or?
No. We did it in Berlin.
Yeah.
But I was there.
Guys.
But I was there.
Yeah.
And then now we're in the middle of evaluating everything that we recorded.
Sure.
Obviously, what they announced is like there's an incredible new sample player coming out with all these new features that it has. So now we start to test drive the initial recordings that we did. We make a list of what we still need, and then we're going to talk about like, what else can we do?
Okay.
And we still have like a lot of time, but we just really like the viewers and the fans to be part of the production process instead of like doing it on our own and then just drop it. It's like, oh, now you can pre-order this and this.
Yeah.
We want to make people part of it, because the people that potentially are going to buy this, they have very strong things to say, what they would like to see in the brass library and what they don't like about the other libraries.
It's only fair they get a say in it too, so that's very
it really works. We got a great response on it, and hopefully, when it's done, people will recognize a little bit of themselves into that library. And it's like, oh, that was me.
Yeah. I want some money.
Well, that's a different thing.
So, kind of with regards to kind of when we're going to be seeing the fruition, when are you hoping this kind of product's going to be coming to market?
Well, no, it's going to come out this year. You know, we said that during the keynote speech. But just we have to make sure that everything is like absolutely perfect. That it's test driven well. We don't want to release something just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? It needs to be good. And if we need like 4 extra weeks, we need 4 extra weeks. So
do it properly.
We have a plan when that date should be. But if we need some extra time, and if we're done earlier and it's actually great, then it's like, well, let's do it now.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? So it needs to be good. It needs to be good.
All right. Is there anything kind of project-wise that you've got coming up that you can talk to us about?
That's the problem. I can never talk about things that I'm about to do. I can talk about things that are finished.
Okay.
I can just tell you that I'm working on 4 movies that I'm very, very excited about.
Cool.
And a few of them come out later this year, and one
beyond.
comes out like just after the new year, and that's going to completely occupy my year, plus finishing this library.
This library, of course. One last little thing I want to know.
Absolutely.
The studio, as vast as your studio is, and as packed with amazing things, if you had, God forbid, a fire break out, you had to take that one thing that was you, what would that be?
My dog.
Yeah.
I don't give I don't give a shit about the gear.
The gear.
And I mean that in the best possible way, in the sense that if there's a fire, that's an emergency. So you're gonna take your dog and you're gonna run out. Other than that, I don't consider the classic synths that I have technically to be mine. I consider them to be for future generations.
Yeah.
And so I see it as my job to maintain them as good as I can, because at a certain point when I'm gone, these synths are still going to be here, and we need to protect them. Because some of the synths I have, there's only 4 copies around in the world.
Oh, really?
And so, or 5, or 100, or 50. And we have to make sure that they don't end up in some collector's living room that's not going to make music with it.
We're just custodians. I mean, they live longer than us, so that makes sense.
So for me, it's very important that I take care of these synths. So I don't consider them mine, even though they are mine. But they're for
just
for
future.
Now. But if there's an emergency, if there's a fire, I'm going to run. I'm going to take my dog, and a backup hard drive, and then just let it burn down.
There you go. Yeah. Tom, thank you so much for seeing us.
Thank you very much.
I hope you have fun tomorrow looking at everything.
Yeah,
you will.
I'm looking
sure
forward
you will.
to it. Thank you, guys.
Cool. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment and share wherever you're seeing this video right now, and of course check out musicradar.com for the latest NAMM news as we have it from the show. So we'll see you soon.